The thing that I find most interesting and the thing that I think a lot about is who are we sort of at our core? What are we? Are we changeable? Are we malleable? The whole nature versus nurture thing has really come to define my life.
It's time. It's time for you to level up. It's time for you to get out of your routines and start making it a reality and do something unique and different. Struggle a little bit, hurt a little bit, sacrifice, and dedicate yourself.
It's never that pleasant to talk about the negative, but we got to talk about it because life is part negative. These attitude diseases are like weeds that grow in the garden. It's a normal part of life.
The right goal with the right plan often generates its own motivation. No matter how big your ultimate goals are, they are comprised of smaller goals that are manageable and easier to tackle. Treat yourself each time you reach one of these goals. It may be movie. 28, go motivate yourself. Stop chasing gurus and do the hard work. Night at home, or a meal at your favorite restaurant, or reading a new bestseller. Sometimes achieving these smaller, short-term goals are all the motivation you need to start working toward the next short-term goals.
And whenever I give a business talk, the first question I ask is how many born entrepreneurs we have in the crowd. And normally people get all amped up and they're hyped and they're yelling and screaming because they think that that's somehow a better state of being, to have been born something than to have made yourself. But my thesis in life is it doesn't matter who you are today. It certainly doesn't matter how you were born. The only thing that matters is who you want to become and the price you're willing to pay to get there. Now, I think that Ray Dalio, the guy that created Bridgewater, which is the largest hedge fund ever, has been a truly just wildly successful person, said it best.
Because there's no other way. The time is right now to make a difference, to be better than you was yesterday. Now, you may not believe this, but you got to do more than less. You got to give a little bit more than less. Whether it's on your job, with your family, with the workplace, whatever it is that you're doing, in the fitness realm, your nutrition, whatever it is that's holding you back, you got to take it to the next level. You got to stop being complacent.
Sometimes you need additional incentive to stay on track. When achieving a goal isn't enough motivation in and of itself, tie a reward to achieving the goal. Treat yourself to a new book, a night out, or watch a favorite movie on Netflix for the 10th time. Accomplishing a small goal deserves a small reward. Accomplishing a large one deserves a large reward. You have an article published in a voluntary bar association e-newsletter. Treat yourself to a movie. You're appointed to a committee chair or to a board of an organization that deserves a larger reward.
I don't know that the life that I have lived is better than somebody who wanted to live a stress-free, quiet life. I only know it's the only life I could have lived. And that's how I feel about the pursuit of greatness. What I'm going to talk about up here is that. I'm going to talk about wanting to become extraordinary, to transform yourself into something that is truly undeniable, to become so good that they can't ignore you. And that has been truly what I've tried to do with my life. But I don't prescribe it for everybody. I'm not saying that this is the only way to live your life. I'm just saying it's the only way that I could have lived mine. Now, the irony is I start about as far from pursuing greatness as you're ever going to get. And my parents taught me to be a good employee, to keep my head down, do as little work as possible, and avoid punishment at all costs. And that was real. That was my existence. I cheated my way through high school because I knew that I needed to get good grades, but I didn't want to put in the work.
You're always looking for the easy way out. There is no easy. How can you be successful in life if it's easy? Why do you feel that easy is the best way to get to the level you want? How do you think a champion becomes a champion? A champion doesn't get it the easy way. A champion is a champion for a reason. And I'm not saying you got to get in the ring and knock somebody out, but you definitely got to knock out those excuses. You got to knuckle up, and you got to buckle up, and you got to be about your business. Why are you constantly making excuses? Do you really believe that excuses is going to save you? Do you understand what it means that you have to get to a level that you have never been in your life? Do you really have the mental fortitude to level up? This is the time right now for you to recognize the truth. about who you really are inside. Now, it's true that everybody doesn't have what you have.
Here's a good phrase to note. Negative is normal. It's not successful, but it's normal. It's part of life. And here's the next key, in my opinion. You must learn to handle the negative. Don't ignore it, handle it. Now, I know some people teach the other way, and listen to them, and listen to me, and then make up your own mind, right? Don't be a follower, be a student. But I say you got to handle the negative. You don't have to live in it. You don't have to dwell on it, but you do have to handle it, my opinion. I know some people teach, just turn your head real quick and say, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. They'll take your guard.
There's no relationship between that and eroding your self-confidence. In other words, self-confidence is really self-trust. So the first thing is, the people I know that are really happy are very self-aware. In fact, the best entrepreneurs I know are very self-aware. They're aware of their shortcomings, right? They want to improve them. They want to get to the next version of themselves all the time. And so for me, self-confidence comes because I didn't have it. And I think anytime you meet somebody like yourself or myself who might now appear self-confident, because I really had to find tools and resources because I was so insecure and shy and introverted. So I had to find techniques and resources to build that up in me. And for me, it's very simple. It's the promises that I keep to myself. If I have a habit over and over of beginning to stack one on top of the other, of keeping promises I make to me, not other people, the minute you begin to get external in your life, worrying about what other people think about you, right? You've lost all control, and it never fills you up.
Sometimes you need additional incentive to stay on track. When achieving a goal isn't enough motivation in and of itself, tie a reward to achieving the goal. Treat yourself to a new book, a night out, or watch a favorite movie on Netflix for the 10th time. Accomplishing a small goal deserves a small reward. Accomplishing a large one deserves a large reward. You have an article published in a voluntary Bar Association e-newsletter. Treat yourself to a movie. You're appointed to a committee chair or to a board of an organization that deserves a larger reward.
So you've got to handle the negative. Here's what part of it is. It's called the Great War between good and evil. And there is a war on. The minute you were born, you got involved in the war between good and evil, between darkness and light, between negative and positive, between evil and good, between tyranny and democracy, between weeds and human activity. I mean, the war is on. If democracy sleeps, guess who never sleeps? Tyranny. In the absence of light, guess what's automatic? Darkness. If good does not arouse itself and become active, guess what moves in? Evil. It's a war. A mental war, a physical war, a financial war, between enterprise and ease, between accomplishment and failure. It's a war.
People's admiration, people's gratitude towards you will never fill you up. It's your own. It's your own inside. And so for me, self-confidence comes from keeping the promises I make to myself. And the other part of it is being aware I'm doing it. Most people don't give themselves enough credit all the time. They're very aware of these 20% things and not aware of the 80, right? And that's why the dosage is so important too. You've nailed it. It should be 80-20, right? Because people get addicted to this. I'm not good at this. People don't like this about me. I don't feel good. Instead of focusing on the 80 and stacking it up. Wow, I did eat what I said I was going to today. I did get up when I said I was going to. I made the amount of phone calls. I treated people in such a way I promised myself. It's not just doing those things. It's rewarding it. It's being aware of it and stacking that up. When I work with athletes, the successful athletes I work with, when they're in a slump, it's never that they can't hit a ball anymore or make a shot or swing a golf club. They've lost their self-confidence. Somewhere along the way, they've lost the ability to focus on the things they are great at and stacking those promises they make to themselves.
A list of the articles you've written, events you've attended, and leads you've pursued. We can be hard on ourselves for not achieving enough quickly enough. A journal in black and white reminds us how far we've come and what we have already achieved. Success breeds success, and accomplishments breed the desire to achieve more.